Hello and welcome to DOZ Show with Echiruvi Erebo. If you love stories and lessons, you'll love DOZ Show. DOZ Show empowers women to pursue their God given purpose and fulfill their destinies by sharing amazing and inspirational stories of other women. Today, I will share the story of a remarkable woman known as Juliet Wu Shihong. I will also share the leadership lessons gleaned from her journey. Please hit the subscribe button, like and share, and don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So, the story of Juliet Wu Shihong is the story of hard work, determination, resilience, focus, and success. She is one of China's first generation professional managers, and she attained success by working her way up the ranks from a cleaner to a marketing executive, all the time educating herself and intentionally learning on the job. She was a general manager of the Chinese branches of Microsoft from 1985 to 1998 and of IBM from 1998 to 1999. In 2008, she founded Shanghai Black Space Infotech Company Limited and is the company's chairman and chief executive officer. Today, she is a top executive, but this was not her beginning. Juliet Wu Shihong started working at the lowest rung of the ladder. Her job was to pour tea and to sweep floors. Then came the day that would change her life forever. She had left the building and was refused re entry by the company's guard because she had forgotten her staff pass. As she pleaded with the guard, explaining her predicament, which, by the way, fell on deaf ears, she observed other company staff, smartly dressed in business attire, walk through the gates without showing their passes. She pointed this out to the guard, but he ignored her. That humiliating experience became the turning point for Juliet Wu Shihong. She had been humiliated, and as she noticed, possibly for the first time, her shabby clothes and the dirty cart she was pushing, she felt great shame and a loss of her self esteem. But it didn't end there. She vowed never to be shamed in that manner again. Quickly comparing her attire to the business attire worn by those who had not been asked for their passes, she decided to change her appearance. She began saving and investing in her wardrobe. She also began to develop her mind. She ditched watching television and began reading books. Her work ethic also changed. Each day, she was the first to arrive at the office and the last to leave. It wasn't long before the company noticed the change in her and made her a sales representative. And as they say, the rest is history. So that's Juliet Wu Shihong's story. Amazing, isn't it? Now let's look at the leadership lessons gleaned from her life. Leadership lesson number one is that great women know that they have the power to change their circumstances. These women understand that although they cannot change their past, they can change their present to shape their future. Leadership lesson number two is that great women do not stop at knowing. They do what they know, or they act on what they know. Someone has said that to know and not to do is not to know. And I agree. Juliet Wu Shihong knew she could change her life, and she put that knowledge to work. Leadership lesson number three is that great women are observant. Juliet Wu Shihong observed the goings on that life-changing day as she pleaded with the guard to grant her access to the company premises. She observed that certain persons were not asked to show their passes. She observed why they were not required to show their passes. And she observed how they were dressed in comparison to her. Her observation led to a decision which dramatically changed her life. Leadership lesson number four is that great women tell themselves the truth. In Act 1, Scene 3 of the famous play Hamlet, Polonius says, "This above all, to thine own self be true." Juliet Wu Shihong told herself the truth. She was poor, she was shabby, she was dirty, and for this reason she was humiliated. Period. It was nothing personal. If she did not want to be humiliated, then she had to become the opposite of poor, shabby, and dirty. It was that simple. Many are where they are because they refuse to tell themselves the truth. They are in denial concerning every area of their lives. And until they tell themselves the truth, they cannot take steps to change their lives. Leadership lesson number five is that the difference between great women and mediocre women is what they do with their anger. Juliet Wu Shihong was humiliated and in anger vowed never to be treated like that again. And she did something about it. She changed her lifestyle, and the new lifestyle brought her into a position where humiliation by the company's guard became a thing of the past. Mediocre women also get angry and make vows, but then they do nothing to enforce the change that will give them their desires. So the proverb is said about them, "If wishes were horses, beggars would ride." Leadership lesson number six is that great women know how to use negative experiences as motivation to reach for the top. Great women know how to use negative experiences as motivation to reach for the top. Another difference between great women and mediocre women is that when faced with a situation like the one Juliet Wu Shihong experienced, a great woman will be propelled by it. In contrast, a mediocre woman will be destroyed by it. Adversity or negative experiences never defeat women who have minds like steel traps. Rather, they ride on the wings of such experiences to their mountaintop. Leadership lesson number seven is that great women understand that to have a better future, one must take steps to change one's daily routine and habits. The things we do every day shape our current reality. If we want a better future, we must change our daily routines and habits. Doing things the same way and hoping for a different outcome has been defined as insanity. Juliet Wu Shihong stopped watching television and started reading books. She began arriving earlier for work and leaving later. These were daily changes, and they soon took her where she wanted to be. Leadership lesson number 8 is that great women have no time to make excuses or to dwell on the reasons why they can't have their dreams. Juliet Wu Shihong had no academic qualifications, but she didn't dwell on this, and neither did she use it as an excuse to give up even before she had tried. Leadership lesson number 9 is that great women understand that to get what you want, you must first begin by acting as if. Juliet Wu Shihong wanted to be an executive, and so she began to dress and act like one. She changed her clothes, and she changed her attitude towards work and her work ethic. No one becomes an executive by arriving late and being the first to jump out when the closing bell rings. Leadership lesson number 10 is that great women know that with determination, focus, and hard work, eventually comes success. They pursue their dreams and they keep at it, come what may, until they win. We tell the story of Juliet Wu Shihong as if it were an easy journey to embark on and to stay on, even when it seemed it would not pay off. I am certain it was no easy ride. I am sure some mockers would have said to her, "How are you going to achieve all that is in your heart when you did not go to school?" Many would have told her she was wasting her time. Her fellow junior staff would have mocked her for arriving early and leaving late. They probably said, "Is it your establishment or your father's?" So it was no easy journey, but she stayed on until she won, because great women know that determination, focus, and hard work will always result in success. Leadership lesson number 11 is that great women inspire others. Their story gives hope and sends across a simple message, one that says, "If I can, so can you." Juliet Wu Shihong's story tells others that they can change their circumstances for the better. And before I round up, I want to leave you with some soul-searching questions. Are you satisfied with your current situation? If dissatisfied, are you doing anything daily to change it? Have you identified what habits you need to change your life? Are you making excuses and arguing for your limitations? Ladies, we have come to the end of today's show. DOZ Show returns next week with another exciting story and leadership lessons to motivate you in pursuing your dreams. If you have enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for listening. My name is Eturivi Erebo, and this is DOZ Show. See you next Thursday.